New York, Twist Rock podcast with your host Celso Santiago Jr. My apologies. I don't know what was going on with this StreamYard. For some reason, um, for some reason, I couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't hear myself, and you guys couldn't hear me. But we are back. We are back. You know, sometimes we do have technical difficulties that we have to fix, and that is understandable. Um, it can happen. Trust and believe it could happen. But here we are. Here we are back in business to start with this podcast, with this new podcast, Twist Rock Podcast. So, what this podcast is all about? What this podcast is all about? This podcast is all about music. We talk about rock bands. We talk about music. We talk about fashion, all that stuff. Um, if everybody know, I'm Gothic. I have been Gothic for since I was 15 years old. Yeah, since I was 15 years old, and um, I want to tell that. You know what? Let's tell the story. I want to tell the story of how I became Gothic. Um, wow. It happened when I was 15 years old. I remember I was in Puerto Rico. I was in Puerto Rico. I was living in Puerto Rico. I was going to I'm not gonna say high school, middle school. Well, I was going to middle school, and I met these new friends where they used to have long hair. They used to listen to rock music. Even though we used to use in our school, middle school, we used to wear uniforms. But when they was out of school, they was always wearing black, and that was something that it was something that grabbed my attention. It really did because there was they are were the ones that introduced me to rock music. They introduced me to like Corn, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, and because of my family, I was always attractive, or I always loved music because the background of my family. Music, it's in our genes when it comes to my family. And before they introduced me to like rock music, heavy metal, um, I like salsa, merengue, Spanish music. That was all that I was listening to was Spanish music, was reggaeton and stuff like that. And when I met my friends that they had long hair, and um there was the ones that was like listening to rock music and all that stuff. And when once I met them, they introduced me to this new world where the music was different. It was not like what I was accustomed. It was not like what I was a music that I was used to hear and listen. Um, when I met my friends in middle school, you know, I remember that we used to have this. We used to chill in a spot because our middle school, even though it's not there anymore. I mean, it's there, but it was destroyed by I want to say by multiple um earthquakes. It was destroyed by multiple earthquakes. Even though our middle school in Puerto Rico, in Guanica, Puerto Rico, still there, but it's in ruins. Basically, it's in ruins, and they haven't do nothing with it yet. It's still there. It has been there been like that for many years. But our middle school looked like kind of like prison, kind of, because that school were protected, where um it has that middle school, like there were cops in there and security guards and etc. And when school, when class was in section, they would close the gates where you couldn't get out, or nobody couldn't get in. And the gates were open where we had our breaks. Only in breaks, the gates would open. No, it was not private school. It looked like a private school, but it was not a private school. So me and my friends, we used to, before we went to class, before the bell ring, we was always early, and we always used to sit or chill in a certain spot where we used to listen to music, and there was always used to listen to rock music, corn, and heavy metal stuff like that. So when I start chilling with them, I remember my first day that I started chilling with them at that spot. I remember uh, we all were talking about wrestling. We talk about wrestling and stuff like that. And next thing you know, one of my friends, like, he said, let's listen to music. All right, cool. So I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna put some reggaeton, some salsa merengue. No, they put rock music. And I looked at my friend once he start playing the song, because he has like a little radio. He had like a little radio in his book bag, and we're talking about those old radios back in the day. Because we're talking about when I was 15. So this is the 1990s. We're talking about the 1990s where the cell phone was not even invented yet. And I'm so sorry because if you guys hear some snoring, you guys know. Guys, remember my mom's dog? I'm taking care of my mom's dog today. So if you listen to some snoring, I apologize. That's my mom's dog. So yeah, we're talking about 1990. I was 15, so I want to say 1997, because let me see, hold on. 2000, I was, hold on. 2000, I was 17. So 2000, I was 17. 1999, I was 16. 1998, there you go. 1998, I was, 15 years old. And I, remember back, remember, those old radios back in the day. We had our boom box, and we had this, little radios back in the day, and where you could put in your book bag, stuff like that. So he put this music that I never heard before. It was in English, and I never heard it. Like I never heard that type of music before. And I asked my friend, what kind of music is that? So they looked at me like shocked. They looked at me like shocked because it's like I was living under a rock. And I'm like, why you guys look at me like that? They're like, you don't know what this music is? I said, no. They was like, for real? I said, no, so they thought I was kidding. They thought I was joking around. I said, no, I don't, I never heard this. Like, what is this? What kind of music is this? So this is rock music. Oh, rock music. So they told me what rock music was all about. So I was like, okay, I liked it, I'm here like banging my head. I said, okay, I like it. What's the name of the band? And they say, Corn. I said, oh wow, I never heard Corn before, but I was like, we're talking about back in the day when I was 15 years old, and that's when I started to listen to rock music. I started to listen to Corn. I started to listen to Linkin Park, and I remember there is a video out there. There's a video out there that I did post on my Facebook, and it talks about rockers. It talk about gothic people and like people that listen to heavy metal, where how everything started. And in the video, it starts with a kid listening to rock music in his room, and the parents, like was listening to, listening to the music coming out of his room, and they thought they was going to a phase. And then it says 20 years later, that person still listening to rock music, heavy metal. So my experience when I started to listen to rock music, heavy metal, it was almost like that, but it started with meeting my friends at middle school. So when I came home, I started to listening to rock music and putting it in, like I was playing it in my. I had a big boombox where you could put CD, you could put cassette tapes, and I had I bought my first CD of Corn. I bought my first CD of Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit. I think that was the very next day. The very next day when I started listening to rock music. I went to the store, and I bought a CD of Linkin Park, Corn, Limp Bizkit. That was my first three CDs that I bought from, like I said, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, and Corn. And I remember when I played it at my grandma's house for the first time, and my father and my grandfather. No, 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 no. Hold on, hold on. My grandmother was the first person that find out that I listened to those type of music. And I remember she came to my room, and she did not. When she came to my room, I thought that she was going to scream at me. I thought she was going to, like, oh, don't listen to that music no more. No, 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 no. She came to me and she understood because she asked me the question when she came to my room. She was like, she didn't know what it was either. She's like, "What is this music?" And I say, "Okay, it's rock music, and heavy metal stuff like that." She said, "You like it?" I said, "Yeah, I like it." She said, "Why you listening to this music?" I say, "Okay, I think it's cool." She said, "Okay, So, like, she didn't have a problem with me playing it. I don't think she thought I was going through a phase. It just she understood that it was something that I discovered, something new that I like. So she was like, "Okay, no problem. Okay, you could listen to your music, no problem." I mean, I don't mean, I mean, she never told me to put my music down or nothing like that. My grandmother, she's cool. I mean, even though right now she's in the situation that she is right now, but she always was cool with me. Always understanding. So, you know, I started to listen to the music and I became a rebel. I became a rocker. You know what I mean? So in that time, I was not wearing black. I was not painting my nails black. I think it started when I came to Rochester, New York. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. So I think it started um, when I met my cousin. Um, when I started living at my cousin's house and my uncle's house. My cousin, he was Gothic, younger than me. He was younger than me. He was probably, I'm gonna say, 15. I think he was 15, 14, 15. I was already 17. Um, and I remember my cousin, and his little brother. His little brother was like 6 or 7, and both of them they used to wear, like, like black crows, you know, those collars, those necklaces with spikes. There are black, but they have like silver spikes coming out from it. Um, they yeah, like they was like wearing makeup, black makeup and gothic pants. I remember their friends was like gothic too. They was like wearing black pants and stuff like that. And my cousin was the one that introduced me to gothic because one day I was working my first job and I came from work and I went to his room and I was listening to like Korn. And I was listening to Linkin Park already. I started to listen to Avril Lavigne. So he was like, "You like rock music?" I said, "Yeah, I do. I like rock music." I said, "I've been listening since I was 15." He said, "Oh my God." I said, "Well, you know what, cousin? I want to introduce you to the Gothic world." I said, "What is Gothic?" Like I didn't know what Gothic was. And I was like, "What is that?" So he showed me, like, okay, we were black and we paint our nails black and he told me what it was. He's like, "I'm going to take you to the mall." And I remember um there was Hot Topics back in the day, Spencer's, Hot Topics. And I remember that we walked. We walked, and it was a good walk. But we walked all the way to the mall, one of the malls in Rochester, New York. And he was like, "Since you got the right now, I want to take you to the mall where you're gonna buy you some Gothic clothes." And I thought, okay, go ahead. So we went to the mall, and my first Gothic pants, they were all black, and I remember they had like a skeletons, like skulls, like two skulls designs, and there were green skulls. Fire was coming out, like there was like fire um designs on the pants. And I remember that he had chains, like there was like this silver chains coming out. I don't know. I don't think it was from the pockets, but from the belt area. So this chains, like silver chains, was coming out from the belt area on both sides. And I think it cost me like, I think it they cost me like $30. Yeah, they cost me like $30. And I bought this black shirt with corn. It had the corn design, the letters. Um, then he's like, "You going okay? Now you got the pants. Now you got the shirt. You need like something leather. You need like either a hoodie." So I bought me a hoodie, and it was a Gothic hoodie where the hood, the hoodie, the hood. On top of the hood, right on the edge, had black spikes coming out. So he was like, "Okay, now that you got your Gothic pants, you got your corn shirt, your hoodie. Now you need to paint your nails black. So I said, okay. He's like, cuz don't worry, this is a makeover. This is your first day of being gothic. Now this is your makeover. I said, okay, no problem. I said, hey, I trust you. I trust you. So we went to Spencer's. We went to Spencer's, and they have some like nail polish. They on Spencer's they had this gothic chains. They had the collars with the spikes on it, and they had the sleeves. They had accessories. They had and I had this like these type of like bracelets, black bracelets, which I did bought it from Timo. So no. Where did I buy it from? I bought it from, I'm gonna say Alibaba, something like that. That's what they call Alibaba, Ali, something like that. Don't know how to pronounce the name, but I bought me some new bracelets with spikes. I have some. I bought me some black sleeves and some gothic gloves that I'm going to use for work. And in that time, I saw this black bracelets, with spikes on. I was like, wow, I like those. I was looking at them and he said, what is those? He said, those are bracelets, those spikes bracelets that got the people use. So I bought them. I think I bought like five of them. Each one costs like $10. Back in the day, it cost like five for $10 each. So I got me like five of them. And it was a whole makeover that I had. That was my first day of being gothic. And I remember when I came back home, I remember when I came back home, I am so sorry for that snoring. Lord have mercy. So sorry for that. I remember when I came back home, um, I took a shower and I put the clothes on. I did. I put the clothes on. And my cousin was like, yo, you look good, cuz. Yes, yes. You look good. I like it. I said, but now I'm going to put some makeup on you. I said, makeup on you. And I said, no, don't worry, just eyeliner. I said, I'm going to, it's eyeliner. I said, oh, it is. Okay, so I pulled the eyeliner. He was the one that, painted my nails. And it's like, yeah, now we're talking about it. Yeah, like he liked it. My grandmother saw me, and like I said, my grandmother, she's a cool grandmother. She was always was cool with me, and she was always understandable. And she liked it. Like she saw it, she said, "Oh, this is like your new makeover." I said, "Yeah, yeah, grandma. I'm gothic." And I told what I told her that I was gothic, and was my first day and stuff like that. And from there, I started. I always was wearing black clothes. I was, wearing makeup and painting my nails black and, listening to rock music, heavy metal and stuff like that. And I remember my little brother, um, I think it took for him to listen to rock music. I want to say when he was probably 10 years old. Yeah, when he was 10 years old, I think to for him to listening to rock music and heavy metal. Um, but he became emo, and I don't think he became emo at the age of 18 or 17. Yeah, because I was in my 20s when he became emo. And until this day, he's still emo. He's 30 something years old right now. He's probably 30 or 31 years old right now. So, he's still emo. And I think I inspire my little brother to become emo. I think I inspired to my brother to listen to rock music and heavy metal. Like, I'm the first generation of gothic rockers generation of my family, and my little brother is the second generation of, but he's emo, I'm gothic, which is different. But you know, I'm 42 right now. I'm 42 years old right now, and I still listen to rock music. I still listen to God. I'm still gothic. And as I talked about it on my podcast, talk shows, and I show that yes, I do paint my nails black, and I sometimes I wear eyeliner. Sometimes, I mean, the whole time I wear black crows when I'm not at work. I do tell you the truth. When I'm at work, I wear black crows, but it's not. I do have to wear my job, my work shirt. I have to, but under my work shirt, I always wear black with black pants. Cannot wear the eyeliner. Cannot wear I cannot put my nails black when I work because I gotta, I have to follow the rules. But when I get home, when I'm outside at work, then yeah, of course I paint my nails black, and I, always wearing black and stuff like that. And it's something that I love to do. A lot of people, a lot of people, um, they think that gothic because they see us. Emo does it too. Like emo people, they paint their nails black and makeup and stuff like that. So I think it's something that gothic and emo has in common, where we were gothic crows. They were the emo crows, but it's like they paint their nails, they wear makeup. Gothic people like us, we do paint out, our nails black and black pants and wearing black and all that stuff. So I think it's something that we do have in common. And gothic emo, you know, were bullied and still bullied into this day because they see a male wearing black nails. They think they're gay, but they not, because gothic has nothing to do with gay community. But there's people in comments, they will bully you, and then they will say whatever they want to say because they think it's funny, because they want to be relevant, which they not relevant because they think it's funny. They think it's funny. Um, for them, they think it's funny to pick of God on gothic people, emo, punk, rockers. So it's like we always have been bullied, and the thing is that I think people that don't understand us, they think it's funny, It's understandable because they don't understand us, and they call us freaks, like freak of nature, or they think because they see a male wearing. I'm not going to say wearing black, but I'm going to say with their nails painted black. They think, oh, he's gay. No, 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 no. This person's not gay. He's gothic. It's something way different. I have nothing against, like I said before, I have nothing against gay people. I have nothing against gay, gay community. I do respect them a lot, but it's like when it comes to gothic, if you see a male wearing black nails, you know, don't assume they're gay. Don't be quick to assume that they are gay. You know what I mean? Maybe it's fashion. It's because gothic people, we all about fashion. We all about music. So don't assume that these people are gay or something like that, because it's like I say, we got the people, we're not gay. You know, it's all about fashion. It's all about fashion. It's all about music. So yeah, just be open minded. Just be open minded. And it's something that I love to do. I love to. I mean, I started to paint my nails black again a couple weeks ago, where I make the decision to come back as full blown gothic. You know, and it's something that I love to do. I love, like I said, I've been gothic since I was 15 years old. You know, so it's like it's nothing new. Um, this morning I went to go in and get my mom's dog because my mom went to church. So I'm wearing this. I didn't wear my black hoodie. Like I did not wear nothing black, but I forgot that my nails are painted black, and I said, shit, my mom is going to see. Because I thought that my mom was going to say something. I mean, I'm 42. I'm a grown ass man, so it's like I I don't care because it's like I'm a grown ass man, but at the same time I respect my mother. You know what I mean? It's like my mom. She's how can I say this? She came back to church, so I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna say she just started to she started to go back to church. So I remember I do have a hoodie, like a blue hoodie, and I said, you know what? I'm on my way to get my mom's dog, and my mom's gonna see me with the black nail. So I decided to hide my hands inside of my sleeves, right? But then my mom, when I went downstairs, my mom was like, do you want some coffee? Yeah, okay, I got some coffee, and she cooked me some breakfast, and when I grabbed the food with my hands, she looked at me, but I tried to hide it, and she said, "You don't need to hide your nails from me." I said, "You don't need to. I already saw it. You don't need to." She said, "I said, you forgot I know what you are." You my son. You don't have to hide nothing from me. I already know you got it. 'Cause I said, do you forgot back in 2004 when you start coming to Dunker, New York, when you was visiting me? Do you remember? Well, I started coming to Dunker in 2001, but she said, remember the first time that you moved here in 2004? Remember you had your ex girlfriend Soraya? Remember? Do you remember? We used to, you used to wear, black all the time and paint your nails. I said, yeah, I remember, Mom. I said, yeah. So why you gotta, hide it from me? I already know you got it. I already know you been got it since you was little. She was like, you don't have to do that. I said, Ma, no, but you start going, going back to church. I didn't want, feel like that I was disrespecting. She's like, you're not disrespecting me. Why? You my son. I love you. You my son. I accept you for who you are, and I know you got it. You been got it since you was little. Your brother, she said, your brother, your little brother is emo, and he's still emo. So why do I said, Mom, okay, Mom, I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. I thought you was gonna say something. She said, no, no, that you're my son. Like, why do I no? What I accept you for who you are. You got it. You like rock music. She said, even in your even in your wrestling your wrestling character C2K. She's like, you always wear black and you always wear, wear face paint and black nails. So why should I say something? I didn't say something to you the first time you confessed to me that you were gothic. I didn't say nothing to you the first time that the first time you confessed to me you were gothic, and I saw you wearing black clothes and then painting your nails black and wearing makeup, and then I didn't say nothing when you show me when I saw you wrestling with black clothes and and face paint and black nails. So why would I say something right now? I said, you don't have to, I'm not going to send it to you. I mean, I know where you're at. I know who you are. I know what you are. So, I said, I'm sorry, Mom. I just thought that you was going to say something. And, and like I said, my parents understood. They always understood me, when I confessed to them that I'm gothic, that I like rock music, that I'm a rebel, and, and they understood, because that's the type of parents that I have. My grandmother, you know she was like the first one that saw the creation, the that saw the makeover. I'm not going to say transition, I want to say makeover. The makeover, when she saw me go to the dark side, when she saw me, painting my nails black, and then the first day, and then, she was the first person that that was there when I started listening to rock music. So it's like they never said nothing about it. They understood why. They accepted me as a Gothic person that I am. And it's something that I love to do. Something that I love to do. Um, and it's just like I had to post yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I had to post yesterday something about that situation. And I was like, if you don't understand what Gothic is, maybe you need to go and Google it and read it, because reading is fundamental. Maybe you have to learn and study. If you don't understand what it is, don't try to make a mockery out of it and compare one thing to another, which they are very different things. You know what I mean? because a lot of people, even though, like I said, I don't care what people thinks of me. I don't care what they say about me. It doesn't matter because I'm unbreakable. You know what I mean? I'm a person that is unbreakable, and I just don't care what people think about me or say about me. But the thing is that I wanted to help them understand what a gothic person is. I wanted to help them to understand that when you see a male wearing all black with black nails, don't compare it to be gay because he's not gay. He's gothic or emo or so I wanted to post that so people can understand. Maybe just Google it. If you don't understand what gothic is or emo and want to just bully them because you think, want to call them crown or want to call them what else they used to call us? They used to call us clowns. They used to call us jokers. They used to call us freaks. You know, even though being a freak is not a bad thing. But okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. But it's like, you know, if you don't understand what it is, study. Go to Google it. You could Google everything. You could Google it. That's okay. What's a gothic is? Okay, gothic is this. Okay, why males? Why male gothics? Uh, have their nails, painted black. Okay, let me see what it is. Okay, let me check. Oh, this is why. Okay, so it doesn't mean because they not gay. It's a fashion. It means something to them, and it has a meaning. Where just Google it. Just Google it. Don't bully these people. Okay, don't think they clowns because they're not. They not clowns. They're not freaks. You know, it's a fashion. It's a fashion. Gothic people. It's all about fashion. Gothic people, it's all about music, just like emo. It's a fashion, but emo is comes from emotional. Gothic comes from something else. So even though it's not the same thing, it's different, but we got something in common. Where their music style is very different as ours. They got emo music. We got heavy metal. We got and yeah, it's something different, but at the same time, it's like we got something in common. We wear black. We all about fashion, and we all about music. Makeup, eyeliners, and stuff like that. So it's like it's something different. But all right, guys, this was the episode of the new podcast in C2K Entertainment Twist Rock Podcast with your host, Sister Luis Santiago Jr. And I will see you until the next episode of Twist Rock Podcast. Have a blessed day and God bless you.